Hello, everyone. This is Mark Plaster. I'm the executive editor of Emergency Physicians Monthly, and this is EP Talk. We're coming from Denver, Colorado, the 2019 ACEP convention, and I have here with me Brian Welch and John Martin of a incredible breakthrough product called Hyperfine. And when I first heard about this, they said we have information, or we're launching a portable MRI that you can stand next to. And I said, this is not possible. Okay? That was my first reaction was, this is not possible. This is an oxymoron. I got to see this. I was curious because I said, this is, and then I found out that you were involved in it. And I said, oh, because John, I've gotten to know John with butterfly ultrasound. And you guys had such a breakthrough technology with butterfly that I thought, okay, maybe this is for real. And sure enough, we got a chance to come over and actually see it demoed here on the convention floor, but also last night. Actually, people were, we had a cocktail party where people were getting MRI'd, okay? This is pretty crazy. And they're all walking around talking to the, while the person is getting the MRI. And you know, here's the crazy part, that that all it was plugged into 110 current. I got really excited. And I want to put it to you, which one of you wants to kind of explain. This is a breakthrough technology that's going to impact the way we practice. Particularly, I was excited because I helped build a couple hospitals in Africa, and these are the kinds of things that are actually able to be taken into the third world.
Like you said, it's similar to Butterfly in the sense that it's from Jonathan Rothberg, our founder, who's well known for next-generation DNA sequencing. And we share this mission of democratizing healthcare. And that one of the biggest problems as we advance imaging modalities, and it's been that way since we've started imaging, they get bigger, they get stronger, they get more expensive, and less available. So we can have this mantra that less is more, that indicated in that say, and that right. Sophistication ends up in simplicity, and then less becomes more available, more affordable.
When I heard what you guys are pricing this at, I was floored. I thought I'd heard it wrong.
Yeah, so we're really careful. We don't give an actual price.
I understand that. That's really
important because we're waiting for our FDA clearance.
I understand that.
So, but certainly be order of magnitude more affordable. Maybe you could speak to kind of how did we?
Yeah, the way we did it, and I'm just one member of a very large team, of a talented team of engineers and physicists. They started with the goal in mind that they wanted to make MRI portable so that it could come to the bedside, right. Be used in any room from a wall outlet, and make it much safer than conventional MRI. So they started from the ground up. And every component of our system has been designed with that in mind. So wow. All the electronics are on board. There's no other room full of electronics you have to worry about. Right. It's powered by a wall outlet, like you said, 10 volts, 15 amp is all it's needed. And
that's crazy. I mean, I know that you've said this 100,000 times now, especially at this convention, but that's crazy. 110 volts, 15 amps, 15 amps.
And we're still able to do the contrast that clinicians want: T1, T2, flare, and diffusion-weighted imaging, all in a wall outlet.
You know what I really love, because I like to watch people's faces. I really envision, it's like the guy who had a horse out in the west, and the first time somebody came by in a car.
Yeah.
And they're looking like, what is that? How's that possible?
What is that? I walked over there, and you just had this little tape going around it, and you could walk up, and you were actually scanning somebody at the time.
Yes, and it is a permanent magnet. It's always on. It's a much lower strength magnet, so risk of projectile effects are much lower.
I think it was you, or maybe one of the other guys climbed in and took his something metal out of it, and it
put it up on top.
Yeah, it wasn't like it was gonna shoot a bullet out of his chest. It was just it was a magnet, clamped it on there, and then somehow you guys, from a physics perspective, have been able to generate images that are not quite as clear as the big ones.
There is a trade-off. If you want to go portable, you
That's right.
Go a little up.
We had this with Butterfly. We had this with Butterfly. The question that we would always ask, is this good enough to make a decision, and is it a fair trade for the portability and for the cost and for all the other aspects that you bring to the table with this particular technology?
You know, we've always wanted better and better image quality. We like it with TVs at home.
Yeah.
We want to see the bounce off the football.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's still the same score that we watch.
Right.
And what we're having to do in healthcare, because it's really important, if we're going to reduce cost, improve efficiency, we got to start asking different questions. Not how expensive or how beautiful can we make the image, but how good does the image need to be to answer very specific questions. And that's what we're in the process of doing now. Is now we start doing the clinical trials with this device to clearly find what role can we play. Much like butterfly.
Right.
You can say, is there an aneurysm or not? We can say that with butterfly.
Right.
In this situation, it's really, if we see pathology, you got it. Now the question is, how good can we get?
And as you know, there are a lot of questions that where, for instance, if I work in a freestanding ER, okay, full service except MRI, okay, I work at night. I'm one of those guys that works at night, and if I need an MRI, guess what I have to do? I've got to keep the patient, get them in a $1,500 ambulance, put them over to another hospital, and then when they get to that hospital, if there's a backlog on the MRIs, then they may be in the ER or in a bed waiting till they can get that study done. This truly is, I know it's a cliche to say a game changer. This is truly a game changer.
It's so fun to just watch the reaction on your face because we know as practicing physicians what a difference.
How often would I actually do this if it wasn't a major difficulty? I would be answering the questions that are lingering and that I'm worried about, or that I'm doing a very, very expensive, difficult test unnecessarily.
We do that so often in medicine, and it's almost the untold truth that's out there. How much we anguish over the decisions we make to image or not to image, to ship or not to ship.
Right.
And it's constantly in this process of decision making. We use our experience, which is pretty good, but boy, we agonize over that, and we end the shift and go home and worry about that.
Yes.
How better is this going to be? And
yes.
With more confidence, we're going to say, I can send you home, and I feel good about it. Or even in those situations, we've identified something really quickly. We can call that institution and say, this is real, I've seen it, we've got to move, this gets ahead of everything else where we're still wondering.
Right, exactly.
So there's value on both sides of that equation.
And you're just beginning with this. I mean, I've realized you spent a lot of background getting us to this point, but my point is that this is still an evolving technology. It's going to get better. It's going to get the AI for reading it. Okay, one of the things we're learning is that AI is something that can take an image that maybe we would not be able to do as much with, but if you see a few thousand of them, which this kind of capability starts to generate those kinds of volumes, then
the new scale of imaging, so many units out in the field, algorithms like that will be able to learn that much faster.
Absolutely.
The number of cases.
Absolutely.
The other thing that, Brian, and you should talk a little bit about that, what it's opened the door of, you're in an ICU, particularly a neuro ICU, and there are some subtle changes. Is it worth the risk? And it truly is a risk to ship somebody back downstairs for another scan.
Right.
Now, talk a little bit about how you've done that.
So our scanner comes to the patient's room. It comes to the patient.
I heard that.
They never have to leave their bed.
I heard that, and I thought, this is crazy. An MRI scanner comes into the room, and I saw the little joystick driving it down the hallway, goes in, plugs it in, and the patient slides over, heads in.
A couple of nurses moves them into the scanner. If they're intubated, they stay intubated. If they're on a respirator, they stay on that same piece of equipment. No equipment change necessary.
What really excited me is one of the hospitals that we built in Africa is a pediatric hospital. It's one of only 2 pediatric hospitals in Nairobi, Kenya. And it's all for, it's sort of out for, and I'm really thrilled at the idea of being able to extend this kind of technology to that hospital in that setting, and it's completely doable, in that. But tell me, I've kind of jumped over that to the long range view of this. Tell me a little bit more about the machine itself. I walked in there, looked at it, and I said, this looks like R2D2 on steroids.
Yeah, it's just under 5 feet tall. It weighs 1,400 pounds, 600 kilos. It's a permanent magnet, like I said, 64 millitesla. I didn't get to say that the biggest advancement we've made is that we don't need a special room for the magnet. So all the other equipment that would normally create electromagnetic interference for a conventional scanner, we have technology to deal with that and address that. So people can be in the room with their cell phones on their belt loop, using them, and that won't interfere with our images.
I don't know if you've been skilled in this, but you've had a traditional MRI. It's a little frightening.
This is much more open. It's much quieter.
And you talked about a child, and we're talking about a pediatric hospital, being able to calm a child, hold their hand, be with them.
Yes.
It's
We've scanned babies as young as 3 months.
It's
with their mother
completely changed the ability of what that experience is all about.
We laughed a little bit inside. We have our big victories, if you will, which this is obviously one, introducing this. One of the other victories was we had the day that we beat the 1.5 Tesla system. We beat it in a little different way. The baby was too agitated to actually go to the system. Couldn't go to sleep. So brought our system in. The mother sat there, calmed the baby down, laid as still as could be, and got a great image and solved the problem. So it was the day that this technology really demonstrated what a difference it's going to make. And you have a passion for pediatrics. MR and pediatrics should be synonymous with one another.
I know.
Really the game changer.
Right.
The image and find things out. And you talk about Africa, hydrocephalus, a huge problem.
Right.
Designed beautifully to diagnose that.
Right.
So it's really going to be a big opportunity for us. As you know from Butterfly, Hyperfine, we're a mission-driven company. 2/3 of the world has no access to medical.
That's right.
And we're determined to actually change that.
I was thrilled when you stepped up and last night and started talking about that, because medicine, obviously, we as emergency physicians here in the U.S. are interested in advancing care here. Anybody who has been overseas has realized that we have a bigger issue, and that is the entire world. Thanks for joining us here today, and it's certainly a product, an advancement that you need to know about, and we'll try to help you find out about it. Thanks, everyone, and keep your eyes on epmonthly.com. Thanks. Hello, everyone. Mark Plaster here, Emergency Physician Monthly and EP Talk. Thanks for joining us. I'm here today with Ben Mattingly from Wild Med Adventures. Okay, we're at ACEP 2019 in Denver, Colorado, and it's snowing right now. And Ben just came back not too long ago from a trip to New York.
Yes.
When I think of New York, I think of the city, but you think of salmon.
That's right.
Tell us about tell us a little bit about Wild Med first, but then tell us a little bit about the fishing trips.
Yeah. So Wild Med Adventures basically was an idea we had to bring people together, learn in a non-traditional environment. So open format, small groups, and travel the world.
Have fun.
All the stuff we love to do.
That's right.
Exactly.
And like what ER docs like to do, some of the things, fishing trips, hunting trips, kayaking trips, mountain climbing.
Yeah, dive. We do.
That's right, diving.
We do Costa Rica tropical medicine, Austria ski trip. We have our first dirt biking CME trip next week in Southern California.
That sounds. That sounds like a hoot.
Yeah.
And you're actually and it's not just, sometimes these are sort of a sham for medical education. You're actually learning the stuff in a real life, hands-on environment, because a lot of times the stuff you're teaching is actually demonstrated exactly in that side.
I think that's the thing, that's special about what we're doing is I think most people walk away and say, I thought we were just going on a fishing trip, but I learned a lot of stuff. So we take the teaching serious. Yeah. We take the fun even more serious. But I think with a small group, and we bring in some different specialties, so sometimes we'll have somebody say, it gives a different perspective on what we're talking about. Yeah. So I think people really walk away with sort of this camaraderie, also learn a lot and how to.
Okay, so now we know what you do. Tell me this is just our little brief teaser podcast here.
Sure.
But tell me some of the different fun adventures you've done. You came back from salmon fishing, and I saw the picture of this massive steelhead that your wife caught. I couldn't believe it. That thing is so big that you caught it on a light.
Light, basically fairly light fly rod.
She didn't muscle that fish in. She had to convince that fish to come in.
Yeah, that's right. No, these are, that's probably 25-pound steelhead at least, and salmon run up. So every year around the fall and in the spring, but the salmon will run, and the steelhead chase the eggs. So it'll get a little mix of
salmon
really
and
large salmon coming up from the Great Lakes. So yeah, it's a great.
Oh my gosh!
It's a fun trip. We usually get around 10 to 15, 10 to 12 people.
So it's a small group.
Yeah. That's what we like to have is really walk away. It's not about coming to conference. It's like people return and become your friends. It's a friendship.
So tell me some other adventures you've done.
Yeah, so this year we've got So personally, I got kind of big into mountaineering.
Okay.
So a lot of our first trips were revolved around some sort of mountain. We run Kilimanjaro every year. We're going to Russia again this year.
Kilimanjaro, 19,000 feet, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
You need to be in shape for that one.
It's true. It's a lot of people say, "Oh, it's a walk up," and it is a walk up.
There's no technical.
But it's high and it's a fairly quick ascent. So people do. Quite a few people.
You go from the base, which is.
Yeah, I think we start once you've driven sort of towards the gates at around like 6 or 7,000 feet. So you go to 19. So yeah, it's a fairly quick ascent. Yeah.
Wow. But what bragging rights?
I know, it's fun, and I think the cool thing too is it changes people personally, like on a confidence level. When you see someone, it's not always about the mountain, but you put a team together, you've accomplished something that took some suffering, that it changes their overall perspective on life and confidence. Just
that's great.
So it's fun to see that.
And you learn about a little bit about mountain medicine, about what happens if you get out here and you're 17,000 feet high and you need to get help.
Exactly, and thinking about how you prep a med kit for certain types of groups and who's on your trip, what are the types of injuries you're going to see, frostbite, communications. It's one thing to know what to do, but then how to put together a rescue gear.
Yeah.
How are you going to get a hold of someone? Do you have rescue insurance? There's a lot of things that come into play on this.
Because a lot of people would like to do something like that,
Yeah.
but they don't know where to start.
I think that's another. It's sort of right. So we did a climbing trip to Mongolia. And there's a lot of people that may want to climb, but you're going to go by yourself. You're going to try to do logistics, and here you've got people that got some educational background on what you're doing.
Right.
And then you've got a group of people, 10 or 15, that all have similar interests.
Yep.
And so it's all organized. You show up and everything's taken care of. So I think that's a big plus too, because it's fun to travel with a group. Afterwards, if you want to go to a bar, you got 10, 15 people to hang out with.
And you got a few stories to tell.
Always a few stories to tell.
And maybe you'll actually end up. And now I've got Judy Centinelli walking past here, and you'll have actually the best kind of interaction. Seems to me like something where you actually do something meaningful, something personal, something fun,
and I think
something challenging.
And I think you retain the information because it's you're doing what you're sort of teaching a lot of the times, and these things are going to occur on your trip. Small little thing you need to talk about them or deal with them, and think about how to approach them. And I think the other thing is I think a lot of people are sort of intimidated by some of the trips, like, oh, I don't know wilderness medicine, I don't do. I think what you find is with all the travel we're doing now, wilderness medicine can be on an airplane. You could be 5 miles behind your house because you forgot your cell phone and you have a femur fracture. So I think it's pertinent to emergency medicine in particular, but almost anybody. You take a resort trip for a wedding down in Cabo, Mexico. Next thing you know, somebody's hurt. You don't know where the hospital's at.
Right.
And so I think it does pertain to a lot of people. And we have a lot of trips that are climbing huge mountains that are good for pretty much everybody.
I know you do some hunting trips too.
Yeah, we do. We have definitely had some controversy over some of this, but the thing to me is like if you look at the outdoorsmen, probably 1,000 to 1 outdoorsmen to mountaineers. I think they're kind of neglected in wilderness medicine in general. And people going out alone with firearms and not much education about tourniquets and what they should take, infectious diseases, how to deal with things that occur. So that's great. And that's been it's maybe people out there doing these.
Well, I think you're probably the ones doing it the best. I don't know.
Thanks,
I do know that you guys do an incredible job with your trips, and I'm really pleased that we're partnering with Wild Med Adventures and with you. And
appreciate you guys having us out here. And we'll have to get you on
I'd love to.
I
would love to. That's for sure. And if you want to know more about Wild Med Adventures, you can contact us here. Obviously, you can look it up. You've got a website.
Yep, it's just wildmedadventures.com.
Wild Med Adventures.
And my wife and I are the secretary, the website designer, the trip planner. Okay. So if you call our company, it's our cell phone.
It's
That's what we want to keep it small enough to where it's personal, and we have an invested interest in it.
That's great.
People have good times.
Hello, everyone. This is Mark Plaster. I'm the Senior Executive Editor of Emergency Physicians Monthly and your moderator for EP Talk, the place where emergency physicians come to talk about things that are important to us, both professionally and personally. And my guest here today, I'm at ACEP 2019 in Denver, Colorado, and my guest is Bob Sutur. And I've known Bob for Long time.
Long time.
Long time.
1995, I think.
And I have to say that I have ribbon envy. But you got a little head start on me. You joined the Army, you said, at age 17?
Right. I was given a ROTC 4-year scholarship, and I graduated from high school at 16. So luckily I turned 17 the day school started, so I was able to take the scholarship. So
that's great.
I've been in continuously since then.
Now it's General Sutur.
It's officially General Sutur, right?
Yeah. You've been through a lot of titles, but I wanted to talk. We could literally talk here for a long time. Today, I want to talk to him about something very unique. Most recently, one of the most evil men in the world, like Daddy, was taken down by some special operators. But the most special operators was a dog.
Right.
And your veterinarians, you were involved in that.
Well, very recently. So from the standpoint that I have had the privilege of working with the special operations community in the past, and that's a special group of folks. One of the things that's nice about my position in the Army Reserve is I get to provide some leadership, not only to emergency physicians and people in the field hospitals, the combat support hospitals, forward surgical teams, but we also have units that include veterinary units.
Right.
So we have veterinary units that are designed specifically to take care of military working dogs, and they have other roles as well in terms of food safety and things. But all of the veterinarians right now in the Middle East and Southeast Asia taking care of military working dogs belong to the 149th Veterinary Detachment, and that is actually a unit that I have the privilege of providing leadership to. So we sent them off to the Middle East months back, and when they come back, I will be there to greet them off the plane when they get back from Fort Hood. So we're just really proud that our veterinarians, part of the whole Army Reserve Medical Department team, are able to take care of our hero, military working dog, who did such great service for all of us.
Absolutely. And I actually have personal experience with some of these dogs, having done 2 tours in Iraq and fourth. I was with the recon unit initially, and then with SEAL Team 5 in the second tour.
Right.
And these dogs they're amazing animals.
Absolutely.
Incredibly brave, can be incredibly vicious if they need to be.
Right.
And when you want them to be. And as we trained our physicians, part of a training operation through Uniformed Services called Bushmaster.
Right.
And Bushmaster, in one of the scenarios in Bushmaster, is the physician is given the opportunity to
take care of the military working dog. Right.
Military working dog.
Right.
And to make a triage decision whether a military working dog that is in extremis goes higher in the triage category than a minor illness in one of the soldiers.
Right.
And what they have to understand is that a lot of lives are being saved by that working dog.
Right.
And it's very, very important that we treat them appropriately.
Absolutely. So I'm very proud of them and the job that they're doing, and this taking care of this military working dog hero is just something that knowing that we trained them to go there and do that, and makes these things worthwhile. That's moments like that.
Well, this is just actually an aside, because Bob and I have a lot to talk about, and it has to do with what average civilian emergency physicians can contribute to our country, both at home and abroad, and the opportunities that are there in almost all the services. He was pointing out the Army has doubled the availability, or the number of the need, shall I say, of most of the other services. So if you have, I will say to you as a viewer and a listener, if you have a desire to serve your country as a reservist, and even as an active duty for that matter, but certainly as a reservist, there's an opportunity for you that will be greatly rewarded, certainly appreciated by our country, and you'll work with some incredibly fine people. So stay tuned. Keep your eye on epmonthly.com, EP Talk, and General Sutur and I will be talking to you in the future on this very topic.